Hello everyone, and thank you so much for clicking in this video. Today we are going to look into apparel stores and discounting for apparel stores specifically. If you don't yet know me, I am the founder of Zero Gurus. We are an agency that runs a ton of optimization for apparel stores, so we do know our stuff. We will cover a lot of that today. So let's just jump into it. So today, 7 strategies for discounting. And a little disclaimer before we jump into it. So discounting can help you boost your average order value. There's different strategies to it, and it can be done in a way that doesn't discount the brand itself. But this is not something that you absolutely need to do in order to be successful. So it's more like an optional thing where you can get more out of already a successful store. It's probably not going to be one that makes or breaks you. There are a lot of brands, especially on the apparel niche, that are a little bit the higher end, that never discount, and that's working well for them. So don't take this as a black or white thing. Not a single tactic is going to be suitable for every single person. Okay, with the needed disclaimers out of the way, let's jump into the main content here. So first idea, buy more, save more. And this is from a store called Rebook. Many people know the brand. And here, one thing with their implementation is not really clear from what this actually means. And especially on mobile, this can be quite confusing because you have to basically scroll through entire page to see what this actually means. So here, it means that there's a discount when they spend more. So very, very simple. Get 50% when you spend $250, 40% when $150, 30% at $100. And this one is often done on the kind of apparel that you'd want to get rid of. We've seen this type of approach get more popular lately. So it is something that apparently works for apparel stores. So I'd suggest that you give it some serious thought at least if you'd want to engage into something like this. And here I wanted to pick a brand that is quite known to show that even the bigger brands can do these kinds of things. And here, the thing that makes it a bit more okay for Rebook is that this is not a site-wide thing. They are actually doing it on a very specific products. So here you have the 27 pages to choose from. Okay, so that's the first suggestion. Now, many times discounts can get discounted in a way because it just looks like they're always available. And especially when it comes to, say, fast fashion or fast-moving consumer good apparel stores, you will have a good opportunity to use something like a today-only approach. So here you have a President's Day event. Extended 40% off everything. So here they are making it clear that this sale will end at midnight Pacific time. And with this, there is urgency. There is reason to act on it. And even though Fashion Nova is very known for its continuous discounts, you can't exactly predict that there will be a good discount tomorrow. I'm sure there will be a discount, but not sure how big that is. So this way, the discount pricing strategy is limited in time, and best if you can tie it into something relevant. So here, President's Day. So that is something that makes sense that you would have this end. And this is pretty good because you can then use it also for your email list. And it's a good way to stimulate a little bit of buzz, get more people to come back to your store, and then also eventually get some sales. You can also run these kinds of promotions for a limited number of products. So maybe there is products that you never want to discount that you can then exclude from this kind of discount strategy. All right, next up we have people that are buying and we want them to come back. So that's, of course, a big challenge. Now, one thing that can help in this challenge is loyalty rewards. So here, this is J.Crew, and the way that they are approaching us is that you essentially get a passport, and as you complete more journeys, you will get better exclusive perks. I'm gonna show a couple of these different approaches, because this is one that can be a little bit tricky to explain and also get right. Because you'd want this to be simple, because otherwise it's going to be very confusing. And people just don't have the time and attention span to learn in depth about the different type of points and the rewards that they'll get. So there's a lot of friction point in even looking at this kind of page that is quite lengthy, and making that something you are actually committing your time to look into something like this. So here they are trying to explain it with as few words as possible, so it doesn't look intimidating. The page depth definitely looks intimidating, but I think they do a decent job here in explaining what are the different tiers and what happens in those kinds of tiers. So you get your points, then so you can see that a lot of thought and probably web development resources have also been introduced to this kind of explanation. So that's that J.Crew, and a lot of questions obviously that can come from a loyalty program like this. Feel free to pause the video if you want to look at the possible questions that you could have from this and all the different things that you'd essentially want to cover. It's by no means a simple thing. Next we have Madewell. So this is where they have it become an insider thing. So you have points on every purchase, same kind of approach as J.Crew, but you also have say free shipping. J.Crew also had birthday gifts, etc. So here you have the explanation again, very similar, and how you earn those points. So obviously you kind of buy them. Here we go. Similar table here as with J.Crew, and then also the FAQ. Here they went with more FAQ questions, and this might be a little bit easier to read than the J.Crew. J.Crew was huge fonts, especially on desktop, so something to take care here. When you have a long FAQ like this, often it's good to break it into parts though. So that might be one opportunity for Madewell to look into. Lastly, when it comes to the loyalty rewards, we have H&M, and this is their page. This is the shortest one. We started with the longest, moving to the shortest, and here it explains what you get. Here they also only have two tiers. You have the member, and then you have the plus. So it is simple from that perspective. So you have that before plus, after plus differentiation here. Okay, and a nice implementation with the FAQ search as well. So you have a long list here. You can actually search those questions, and ideally they also would have different questions that are not even necessarily listed. Yeah, just from these FAQs you can get an idea of how complicated it can be. Okay, so that's the loyalty rewards. Let's move on, and many of you probably are guessing what's next. It's the good old bundle and save offer. So here you have a scenario where people would typically buy only one, because generally they would only need one, or they would only want to try it on first to see that it fits, because this might be a little bit of a tricky product to configure size-wise. And then you are incentivizing people to essentially coming and helping them take that risk with your setup here. And you can see here, for example, that the discounts are quite aggressive toward more items. So on the second one, you only save $10. And this might be because many people have an easy time finding a couple that they like, but they might have more of a challenging time finding 3 or 4. And also, not a subject matter expert when it comes to this product, but I would also kind of question, how many do you really need? And if you don't need that many, then this kind of thing is, you're basically incentivizing the customer to buy more than they need, which is obviously good for the merchant. So that's this approach here when it comes to bundling and saving. Especially good if you are struggling with the average order quantity issues. So generally you are having a lot of these one-off orders and one-off orders that only buy one item. And in these kind of scenarios, you, by offering this incentive, can move those one product orders that are also expensive and complicated to ship into multiple product orders. So you win and the customer kind of wins as well. And with that, we have 3 strategies remaining for your discounting. Now, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And obviously you like the video, so please let YouTube know that you like it as well. It will optimize your algorithm to have more educational videos, so you'll benefit as well. Now, let's jump into it again. So, idea number 5 is the very simple and commonly used first purchase discount. So, you'll see this on, I would even say most stores these days, where they incentivize people to try things out for the first time by doing this. And here, well, not all that much to say about it, but it is worth testing this approach. Of course, the main thing is actually not to get them buy instantly, but to get them to that email list to then be able to market to them. This is a very simple A/B test to run, but too many stores ignore it because it just looks like best practice. And you follow the herd, but the herd may not lead you to a very good place. So be aware of that. So that's the first purchase discount. You can also have this in the footer, where you can bring more attention to it. Because sometimes the problem is, if people close this pop-up, then it can be difficult for them to reopen it, and now they wouldn't want to buy it. Because obviously you'd have to pay the full price without the pop-up as the first time visitors. Next up, we have birthday discounts. And for this, we are going to look into the Anthropology store. And here you can see that they have this similar perk as the couple of others earlier have. So a perk for the birthday. And this can be good for getting people back in the store that otherwise would be churning. And here you can think of it also as an isolated discount. So it doesn't have to be part of the member program, even though, of course, in this site it is. So something to be aware of, that this is also a possibility. And if you do collect those birthdays, then definitely use it and use that information to be relevant to your customers, because otherwise you shouldn't bother collecting them in the first place. And last, a tactic that I often see bit misused, perhaps merchants hope that this will magically grow and balloon their store. So they're hoping to enter the J-curve with referral programs. So refer a friend and receive 15% off type of programs. Difficult to make work in my experience, simply because you have a lot of these different type of offers already, and generally you'd have to give a very attractive offer. So it's a lot of coordination there. You can have this tiered though. So the more friends you refer, the higher the discounts become. So say like 10% off for 1 referral, 15% off for 2, 20% off for 3 or more, these kinds of things. So this is one approach to discounting in a way as well. Okay, that's it. For apparel store owners, we have a very good playlist here, optimizing apparel stores. Very course-like content, 1.5 hours, and you can just watch it, take the learnings of how we worked with an 8-figure fashion store to scale them up. Very practical, tangible things that you can copy. If not, there's a bunch of other stuff also on this channel. No shortage of opportunities for you to improve your e-commerce skills, etc. And for the ones that are a little bit further along in the journey, we do run this as an agency focusing on mostly apparel stores, where we take apparel stores, make them really kick-ass, and optimize them for conversions, average order value, and optimizing them also a little bit for purchase frequency. So you can create lasting success. So go check us out at proculus.com if you are interested. With that said, thank you very much for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.